Good morning, happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to the Action Drug Rehab Hour here on KHTS AM 1220 and 98.1 FM. It's good to be here. And, wow, I'm trying to figure out how I want to start this show, because I got two young ladies with me that I am super proud of. And I want to talk to them about their stories. But then I read my Facebook, and someone's little brother was just found deceased in his room 40 minutes ago. So it's like it just never freaking stops, I'm afraid to even look at my Facebook because I get so many of these messages. And it's kind of crazy because I've been doing this now for 40 years. Yeah. I've been in treatment for 40 years, treating people for chemical dependency and mental health and all that stuff. And I've seen every kind of trend there is when it comes to drugs. I mean, I've seen it, the meth, the heroin, you name it, I've seen it. But this is now not a trend. This is kind of life and death. And I know I beat it up every week here on this show, but I'm going to continue to beat it up. Because we're in the midst of the worst pandemic we ever have had when it comes to substance abuse, period.
Yeah.
I mean, we are in the midst of the worst. Not only are we in the midst of the worst pandemic, and I'm just going to give you a little background on where my mind is before COVID. Every time we turned on the television, they were talking about the crisis of opiates. And people were overdosing, and they were getting scared, and then they decided in the midst of all this craziness that these opiates are addictive, and big pharma companies got sued. They actually stopped writing prescriptions. Mm-hmm. So in the midst of the largest demand we have ever had for these pills and drugs, they stopped writing them. It just stopped, went away, no more. So what happened is all the opiate addicts and the people actually that even needed pain meds didn't know what to do. So they hit the streets. And on the streets, there was no more drugs because where does people get their drugs to sell? They go to pharmacies. They go to doctors. They doctor shop, and they go to pharmacies. That stopped. So the dealers really had no way of getting drugs anymore. The clients or the patients had nowhere, or the user had no way to get them anymore. So China saw a great opportunity, and they mass produced this fentanyl stuff, and it was being sent here, and you could buy a press machine. You could buy it on freaking Google or Amazon. Anybody can make them, but the DEA did a pretty good job of slowing that down here in this country. So they just shipped it to Mexico. And now it's in Mexico, and they're making
smuggled.
It's getting smuggled in, and they're making millions and millions and millions and millions of pills. And yes, we're catching millions and millions and millions of pills, but that's such a small percentage of what they're really making, and that is getting into this country. So now, I'll tell you, every drug you buy out there, every pill you get, if it's not from a pharmacy, literally into your hand, it's fake. Which means it's cut with what? Almost always fentanyl. And they're saying, here's a fact for you, 6 out of 10 of these pills have a lethal amount of fentanyl in there, enough to kill anyone. So this is what's out there today, and this is what's taking over and killing people. So it's one of those kind of things that if we don't continue to talk about this, there's going to be more and more people continuing to die. So I'm going to scream and yell. I've been screaming and yelling for 10 years. This is coming. Now it's here. Everyone thought I was freaking crazy. Well, I guess not. But I'm in the midst of this every day. I watch the phases. I see what's going on out there. I'm dealing with the user every day for 40 years. That's a long time. So I can see it coming before it even gets here. Scary stuff. So anyways, where I'm going with all this is, in order to fix this, it's a whole different approach. Well, number one, we got to educate. The education that's going on out there right now isn't really making me happy because everything is fentanyl kills. Most people don't go out there to buy fentanyl. They're going out there to buy Percocet or Oxy or crystal meth or whatever it is they're looking for. But in all those drugs now, there's fentanyl. So the message we have to give is that all drugs are deadly today. that there's no more such thing as experimenting with drugs safely. There's no more recreational usage that is safe anymore. It's just a Russian roulette game, and you can't win it. I mean, we just buried, before I introduce you, I mean, Kai, we just buried one of our ex-patients, left 3 weeks ago and died a week later, right?
Yeah, fathered, two young children?
2 young children, Marcus.
Yeah.
And his funeral's coming up now. So
really?
my condolences to his family. But it's just crazy. It's like, no matter how much I beat you guys up, they still go out and try it again. And then there's massive overdoses, and people are dying. So I'm gonna introduce Olivia. She's got one heck of a story, and Kai, which has got one heck of a story. Some of you might recognize Kai because she was here before.
Yes, I was.
And she was doing freaking great.
Yeah.
And she went from our rehab to our sober living and was involved in partial and intensive outpatient. And then she decided, nah.
I got complacent, and I stopped doing the things that were asked of me, and
started doing the things that you were told not to do, which was what?
Go back to, the old environment, the old friends, and it just led me right back to the same things I was doing before, and it does not get better. It picks up where it left off, and it got way worse.
Plus. So when Kai left a couple weeks shortly after that, I got a phone call from her insurance company, and they wanted to bring her back into rehab. She was in an intensive care unit at a hospital.
Yeah.
And they said, this is from her insurance company. This is the worst overdose they have ever seen of somebody who survived. I'll say that again. This is the worst overdose they've ever seen. This is an insurance company. In fact, it's Kaiser, one of the largest there is. Worst overdose they've ever seen of somebody who has successfully didn't die.
Yeah. And
didn't have brain damage. And we brought you in. You go from there. I mean, you left. You tell your story.
Okay, yeah.
Without cussing.
Yes, I will make sure I do not cuss. I had about almost 3 months clean. I spent 5 weeks in residential rehab. I was very motivated, actually. I had a sponsor. I was trying to do everything that I knew I needed to do, what people were telling me to do, taking the steps, trying to reach out. And then I knew I was a little nervous to leave residential because I got used to it. And then when I left, I went to a sober living.
You went to a structured sober living. That's my sober
one.
Living.
Yes. Cary's sober living.
And you're doing really good.
Yeah, I was still attending outpatient.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Now I feel better. Okay.
Yeah, so I was, talking to my sponsor and stuff. But like I said before, I got complacent. The day that I relapsed, I didn't call anybody. I didn't call my sponsor. I didn't call my family members. I didn't call my friends from rehab. I did not reach out to one person. And I was taking medication that is now available. You should speak on that too. It's craving medications that help the obsession of the mind. I was taking some of those for fentanyl, because I'm a recovering addict of fentanyl. And
they said just that crazy, what you just said?
Yeah.
I'm a recovering addict addicted to fentanyl, which is the most deadly thing there is. It's the number one culprit of people dying in this country.
Yeah.
It's the number one killer of, they say, from 18 to 45, period. It's the reason why life expectancy in this country went down for the first time ever.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't even know that.
No.
Yeah.
But I was addicted to it.
Yeah,
come on, dude.
It's not fun. It's not pretty. It destroyed my life within 6 months. 6 months of using fentanyl, and I was left homeless. 8 overdoses later.
Explain that. 8 overdoses. What does that mean? I want people out there to hear this. And I also want people to hear how somebody can overdose so many times and still go back. Tell me.
Yeah.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 19. I'm 19 years old.
A baby, huh, Matt?
Yeah, I'm young.
Olivia.
And it's crazy because, like, addiction, it's such, like, it's insane, like, especially since I've gone to rehab and I've learned about addiction, like, it really does warp the mind. I mean, my thinking was so warped that I felt like...
Was?
It still is. I mean, I'm still learning to, you know, be sober and live sober, and it's, you know, sometimes it's uncomfortable. And here I am, you know, we learn through other people with the same experiences, and it's really a good thing. Anybody who is scared of going to rehab or against it, like, please don't, like, demonize it or make it look like a bad thing, because it really has changed my perspective on a lot of stuff that even I've just personally experienced, or other people that I see with addictions. Now I can understand, like, okay, you know, this is what's going on in their mind. So,
explain this.
Overdoses?
Yeah, no, I want to,
Okay.
after the first overdose, why would you continue?
Yeah, the first overdose was like, that one I actually was scared of. I remember I woke up and I called my mom right away to tell her I loved her, because it really, like, shocked me. I was like, I could have just been dead and I would have not got to say goodbye. But the obsession was just so strong in my mind that I didn't stop. I didn't stop. I went back to it. I overdosed 3 more times, went to rehab for a couple weeks.
What's an overdose 3 more times? What does it look like, an overdose? Do you know? Can you put it to words?
It's hard to put it into words, because something about when you overdose, like, for me, it's like I'm getting high and then I just wake up again.
So you miss all the ugly.
Yeah. You don't know what other people are seeing.
That you just couldn't breathe. You passed out, lack of oxygen. Somebody had to run over and give you CPR, mostly always.
Right, yeah.
Hopefully they have Narcan and they have to hit you with Narcan. It's scary because most people have 2 hits of Narcan, and with fentanyl, you might have to hit 4 times first.
Yeah.
So you miss all that. And then you wake up in the back of an ambulance or something, and you're immediately sober.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
Yeah. So it's hard to, like, when you overdose, you don't see, like Cary said, like, you don't see the uglies. So it doesn't really traumatize you or affect you. And I remember the first time.
Traumatizes everybody else around, though.
Yeah, well, I experienced that too, because once I finally saw someone overdose in front of me, and I remember, like, literally, it felt like it was yesterday, I started to freeze up, and I had to have my friend take over because I was so nervous and I didn't know how to handle that situation. It's such a high level of stress you're in when someone's literally dying in front of you and you have to save their life if you can. And it was scary, and that's what prompted me to come to rehab the first time, when I saw my friend overdose, and he woke up and immediately just was like, where's my stuff? Yeah. And then he just got high right away.
Isn't that crazy? Seriously, overdose, almost died, Narcan back to life, and once more.
And then I started thinking about it in my own way. I was like, whoa, I literally do the same thing. I get Narcan, maybe I won't, get high for like 4 hours because I just got to sleep, and then I'm back at it. I'm just, my mind was just warped. It is warped still, like I was saying earlier. I got very desensitized to overdosing. It became normal. It felt very normal. Like, I would wake up and someone would tell me, oh, you overdosed. And I would almost roll my eyes. Like, I would just sit there and be like, oh, really? And then get high again. And
is that the definition of insanity?
Yes, most definitely.
I just overdosed. They Narcan me back to life. I wait 4 hours, get some sleep, and use it again.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
And then at the time, being in the addiction, you don't, you're not like, this is insane. It just becomes so normal. It's scary. It is. Once you get sober and you look, at least personally, like, I'll look back at a lot of experiences I've had, and I'm just like, that's crazy. That's insane. And, I ended up overdosing on Christmas Day. And I have 2 younger sisters. I'm the oldest. And my younger sister, we're very close. She found me in my car with the doors locked, and I was ODing in my front seat. Somehow, thank God, I was able to drive to my grandparents' house before I started overdosing. And thank God my window was cracked enough for my mom to be able to unlock the doors, and they got me out. And I just woke up to the ambulance standing over me. I sat up very quickly. I started throwing up blood. My chest felt like it was broken from the CPR.
Still hurts, don't it?
Yeah, I was just talking about that on the way here. My chest is hurting. Went to the hospital. First, I didn't even want to go. Like, another warped thought in my mind. Just, I don't need to go to the hospital. I'm fine. No, I got to the hospital and was on oxygen for days. They took me off, and my oxygen went down, and they were like, no, we got to put her back on.
And they were worried about you dying.
Yeah.
They called us and told us that. We have a referral if she lives.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, so it's just scary, you know, like, and I also wanted to mention, like, I was looking, I don't remember how I came across it. It was like 3 weeks ago, a mass death, 5 people, friends. I think there was a brother and a sister and a boyfriend of one of them, and they all died from fentanyl. They thought they were doing cocaine. Yeah. Mass death altogether, just dead.
Fentanyl's in everything right now.
Yeah.
That's why what we need to be getting out there is that all drugs are bad. Not just fentanyl. Everyone knows that. But what they need to know is it's in everything today.
Everything down to your weed. Your weed is not safe. It has fentanyl in it. Like, seriously. It's in everything now. And it's strong.
Bad time to be a drug user, man.
Yeah, it's not good.
Bad time to be a drug user. So you woke up in a hospital. When we finally got you into rehab, you were, let me say, at best, not very nice for the first 5 days. I mean, you were miserable about being there. You didn't want to be there. You didn't want any part of any of this. Why'd you come?
'Cause deep down inside, I don't want to live a miserable life.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't. It is terrible trying to find your next fix. Trying to, stealing money, lying. Like, you lay down, at least for me, I lay down and I think about those things. I think about those things, and I feel bad about those things. I feel guilty for the things I've done throughout my addiction. I mean, the worst part, overdosing in front of my 16-year-old sister, my 13-year-old sister, it's terrible. My mom standing there, I remember I woke up, she was standing there covering her face.
You guys, I want you all to picture this. She's in a car in front of the house. She's overdosing. She's out.
Yeah.
The car is locked. They have to break into the car, call 911, do CPR, Narcan, get her to the hospital where she had to be on an oxygen machine for how long?
A few days. I don't even know. I was out of it, honestly. I was out of it for a while.
And now she's here.
Yeah.
And the reason she was so angry the first 5 days about being there is because she was afraid of what? Not being able, go on.
Not being able to successfully be sober, not being able to do it.
That's what stops so many people from going into rehab.
It was hard for me to swallow the pill of, like, I almost had 3 months, and then I just threw it all away. I was healthy again. Because when I'm on drugs, I just lose weight. So I was, skinny again and not feeling good. And it was just like, how can I don't know if I can do this.
How many days do you got?
I have 15 days today.
So if you can have
2 weeks.
15 days, it means tomorrow you can have 16 days.
Yeah.
And the next day is 17 days. And in 50 years, it's 50 years plus.
Yeah.
If you do this thing one day at a time, you already proved you can do this. You got 15 days.
Yeah.
All you got to do now is continue your days and make the right decision every morning. That's for both of you. When you wake up in the morning, you got to figure out, okay, today's the day I'm not going to do A, B, and C, and what I'm going to do instead is C, D, and E.
Yeah, I wanted to mention too, like, if you relapse, like, don't give up, because that was a big thing for me. Like, I was giving up. I was just, like, throwing my hands up and feeling defeated, but like, now that I have a little bit, 2 weeks for me, I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that, because it's not easy.
I'm gonna pat you on the back. I'm gonna give you a hug.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm really, 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 really proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. But it's a learning lesson. Like, if you relapsed, look back at your last sobriety and see where you could do better. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
You know what you did wrong.
Yeah, I do.
We talk about it every day, every time I see you.
Yeah.
You know what you did wrong.
Yeah.
You know what you got to do differently.
Yes.
So when we come back from break, we're going to introduce you to Olivia. And Olivia, just your name and a little bit about a minute of what you're doing here, and then we'll take a break.
My name's Olivia. I am 21 years old. I'm here in rehab to focus on myself and focus. My recovery is like a tangled set of headphones. You need to unwind everything slowly at a time. And
you got a lot going on, don't you? A lot of pain.
A lot of pain.
A lot of hurt.
A lot of stuff to work through.
Okay.
I plan to stay and work through it.
You don't want to miss it. The story is definitely a success for right now, but very tragic. And we'll get back to that when we come back. My name's Cary. This is the Action Drug Rehab Hour. See you in a few minutes. Welcome back to the Action Drug Rehab Hour here on KHTS, your local hometown station. I'm Cary Quashen. I am your host, and I just finished with Kai. And if you're just joining us, I mean, what a story of sobriety and relapse and 8 different overdoses, and the last overdose, I mean, intensive care units and breathing machines and everything else to keep her alive. And fortunate, she's now got how many days?
15.
So yay for her. I'm going to give you a hug. I'm really proud of that.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Olivia is my new friend, and she's going to... First, what do you want to say to Kai after all that, and then we're going to get to you?
That I'm so proud of her. I see a lot of myself in her at first.
Thank you.
And
Talk to her, not us.
Kai, you deserve happiness. You deserve sobriety. All the stuff that you think you can't get, you deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You deserve a beautiful life. And I don't want you or anybody else to be like Charlie. I want you to grow and thrive and be the beautiful butterfly that you are.
Thank you. I appreciate
The world needs you. We all need you.
I don't want you to be like Charlie. You want to tell us?
Yeah.
Give me a hug first. I know how hard this is for you. Seriously. I know.
My brother Charlie was my baby brother. When he was 18, he made the fatal decision of taking ecstasy that was laced with fentanyl.
Taking ecstasy.
Ecstasy.
That was laced with fentanyl.
His friends had left, and they found him passed away, curled up in a little ball, like he used to sleep when he was a baby. And for that week after he passed, the pain is unbearable. The pain is everywhere. And a week had passed, and I thought, I can't live. I can't live without him. I can't do this without him. So I took my bed sheets, I took a stool, I made a noose, and I kicked the stool. And the first thing I realized was Charlie would never want that for me.
So you're hanging there.
I was hanging there. And thank God, I had a little ledge at the back that I could pick my legs up and stop, because if I couldn't, I would be dead, and I wouldn't be here.
You didn't share this before. This is the first today.
It's raw, it's emotional, it's not pretty, it's something that has plagued me. But I knew that if I did that, I wouldn't be joining Charlie. I would just be affecting my mom would have to bury another child. And that's something no mother should do. And I knew that living is what Charlie would have wanted for me to do. He wanted me to be alive.
And you know, life's for the living, and you're alive. And you got a beautiful life ahead of you, and you're a beautiful person with I mean, just so much charm and greatness.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I love talking to you. You're a good person, for sure.
Thank you.
Can I give her a hug?
Yeah, because that's even emotional for me. Oh my gosh.
Give her a hug, and then we'll continue here.
Okay. So,
It's so sad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry at such a young age that you've got to go through all this. So let me just kind of back up for a minute, okay?
Yeah.
So you lost your brother, and you try to hang yourself, and fortunately, you had a change of mind. And I do want to say this, that most people, they don't really want to die. They just don't want to feel the pain. Because the pain is so bad that you don't know how you're going to get past it.
you cannot describe it to another person unless
No.
they haven't felt it either.
No, you can't.
It's indescribable.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. So, go ahead. And by the way, I'm going to try to save time. If anybody wants to call in, I might save 5 or 10 minutes if anybody wants to say anything. Matt's going, oh boy. But we'll get to that.
My next idea was if I can't die, I don't want to feel this way. So I picked back up using meth. And at first it numbs it and you just feel a rush. And then at some point it's not even fun anymore. It's just so I don't have to think. I don't have to think about anything. And my mother knew.
It was your complete coping skill.
It was my only
mechanism.
coping skill, the only thing I knew how to do.
Yeah.
And I knew that if anything ever happens and I get fentanyl in my drugs, that there's no going back from that. I don't, just like Charlie,
You saw my phone where I show you pictures of a mom that just recently lost her son October 25th and her daughter December 10th. You saw that.
Yeah. And for the most part, now, after a year...
I'm getting emotional. I swear. I mean, I could just see how you felt when you were doing that, and it's just terrible.
And now in rehab, as I pray at night, because I'm starting to believe in God again, I don't pray to God as much as I do. I pray to Charlie, and I pray to God. And
Good.
I talk to him like he's there. I look up and talk to him.
You know what? He's always going to be there, Olivia. He's in your heart for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll never go anywhere, and he'll be there forever. And he loves you, and he doesn't want you to die, and neither does God.
Everything happens for a reason. There is no reason or lesson to be learned, but there is a lesson to be learned with Charlie, actually. That is that no matter what drug it is in today's society, you have a very good chance of being fentanyl. And Kai, I so wish my brother was like you, that he lived through that. You have so much of a chance that Charlie never had.
So do you.
So do I.
Say that again.
So do I.
What's your name?
My name's Olivia.
And? Without cussing? And I'm freaking...
Freak alcohol and drugs.
And I'm freaking worth it.
I'm freaking worth it.
Say it. My name
I'm
is...
freaking worth it.
Say
My
it
name's
again.
Olivia. My name's Olivia, and I'm freaking worth it.
You're damn right you are. What's your name?
I'm Kai, and I'm very worth it. I'll say it like that.
Yeah, you are. Both of you. You guys got no idea, man, how good life can still be for you and the things you can have. You know, before you came in, we got a report from the hospital. We get referrals from hospitals. Mm-hmm. And it came in there, and it was that you were mute and that stuff. And the staff, I remember saying, I don't think we should bring her in. I said, why don't we call her and see what she's like? And how come you didn't talk in the hospital? What happened? I already know the answer, but...
Basic, not too much into my psychosis, but I had been doing it for a period of time that I knew if I spoke that, like, I didn't want to. I gave up. I gave up. I knew anything I would say, that was the truth. Like, if I did want to die. But mentioning that, I'd be there longer. And I was so selfish, and I thought, I don't want people to know about me. I don't want to speak. I don't want to try. I don't want to do anything but lay in bed and stare at the ceiling and wish I was anywhere else. But that doesn't fix anything.
No. You got on the phone and you did talk.
I did. I was ready. I was so ready
and
when I got that call.
you came in and go from there. What's this? How long you been in rehab?
A week and 3 days, I believe.
Yeah,
I got here.
Tell us the whole experience.
Well,
the drive to rehab. What your thoughts were?
Well, I got an Uber from my hospital straight to Peru, and it was New Year's Eve, a few hours before midnight. Mm-hmm. I walked in and I did my intake, and I sat in that bed and I thought, whatever this brings, I can do this. I can do this. I have the strength in me. I have Charlie with me. Whether he's here or not, he is with me. And no matter what happens, I can do this. This is hard and painful and not pretty, but God damn it. Oh, gosh darn, it's worth it. I'm so sorry. Gosh darn, it's worth it. It's so worth it.
You're worth it.
Thank you.
So you, after a few days of being, I remember I ran into you in the hallway. I didn't really know you, but you looked like you were bummed out, so I gave you a hug. Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then the next day, I just had to end up running 5 hours of groups because things were a little bit out of control, so I needed to get it a lot in control. Mm-hmm. And that was one heavy group.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first time you shared about your brother and you blew everyone away.
Yeah. just like my mother, she cut pictures out that he was in, family photos, no trace of him in the house, like he had never even lived there. And I thought that if she could do that, I could do that, but that's not healthy. Blocking it out is a form of trying to cope, but it doesn't fix anything. It makes it worse. It's putting a Band-Aid over a giant wound. It doesn't help it.
Exactly.
And when I spoke up and I finally said something after being told you need to just say whatever you're crying about, when I said it, I felt bricks off my chest. I felt a relief, like I could keep going, like I could finish this, and I could keep getting day by day by day. And the more I talk about it, the easier it gets.
You need to grow up and be a counselor.
I would like to.
I figured that. You too. I know
Yeah,
you want to be.
I
counselors.
do want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. You know what's crazy? I just sorry to like
No, go
throw
ahead.
the story off, but we have like the same
Middle name and last name.
Yeah,
We're both
and then-
Geminis.
and we are both Geminis, and we shared a room.
Olivia Grace Flores, Kai Grace Flores.
Yeah, and when I first met her,
Well, that's scary, guys.
Yep.
yeah, she came to the room, or no,
I'm
I
sitting
came.
in the middle of this.
I came in the room and I was like, "Do you want a cigarette?"
Yeah.
and then we went outside.
Hadn't had nicotine in about 5
Yeah.
days or so. I definitely needed some.
Yeah, and then we started talking. And we're like, "Whoa!"
So alike. And it was
Yeah,
it was
it's pretty cool.
something the universe was trying to tell us the way we were put in the same room at first. And yeah.
So
Pretty
you guys, this is to both of you now. You've
Mm-hmm.
been here a week and a half, and you've been here for 15 days. What's your thoughts on sobriety and where you're going in life, and what's your next step?
You want to go? You want me
I
to
can go.
Go ahead.
My thoughts on sobriety is that the bad part is you feel everything again, but you get to feel everything. It's bad and good. And there's a lot that comes with it. There's going to be days where I don't even want to frickin' stay sober.
Right.
I just want to lay in bed and close my eyes and pretend that I'm dead. But that is not who I'm supposed to be. I'm happy Olivia. I'm sober Olivia. And that is so better than any drug. No drug can feel the same feeling of when you get that 90-day chip or you get that 60-day chip and you're in a
I
room full of
agree.
people that
Or
love
when you
the
were
stuff
when
out
you
of
were
you.
sharing a group and everybody gave you hugs, and I mean it was pretty crazy, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were so angry that
Yeah.
the whole group worked you over and gave you a lot of love, and
I know they did. Yeah.
actually begged you to not leave and do all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say about sobriety, like the good part, like when you're out there and you're on a run, you're using drugs or you're drinking or whatever it is that you do, nobody is there for you. Like, let's be honest, nobody
Well,
is there for you.
Here's some proof. Your brother wasn't alone. What happened?
So he was taking ecstasy and his friends were doing cocaine. The friends decided to leave
Because he was too loaded.
because he was too loaded.
So they left him.
And they left him there. And he sat on the kitchen floor, he curled up in a little ball, and he passed away. Just like he would when he was a baby. And when my mom was the one that found him, it
Oh, boy.
broke her heart. She still
Yeah.
doesn't talk about that moment because she wants to pretend like it doesn't exist. His room is intact. We may not have photos of him, but if you go in his room, it's all intact. Everything, the
Yeah.
bed's made, the laundry's folded, all his clothes are still in there.
You know, the rehab you're in just text. They said they're listening. You want to say anything to them?
Thank you for saving my life. Thank you for taking me in when no other rehab would. And I'm forever grateful.
All the patients are listening right now.
They're my friends. They're so much closer now that we can all share our trauma and bond over it and become something more than just sad stories. It's more than a tragic story because it turns into a triumphant story. Because there's nothing better than living sober and clean with friends that I can trust and tell anything to.
You find out really who real people are in rehab, don't you? 'Cause
Real
there's,
people.
I mean, there's all that street stuff's gone.
No matter what drug, even if it's alcohol, it's all the same. We are all addicted and we're all here to change that, to change our lives.
Yep. What do you want to say to the rehabs listening to you?
Thank you guys. I love you guys. And I have great memories with a lot of people that are in there. I'm praying for all you guys. I'm praying for all of us to succeed. I'm very proud of the ones that were here with me last time that are trying again just like me. So, yeah, I just love you guys. And,
And you all are doing better than you think you are.
yeah.
Anybody that's got one day can have two. And
Yeah.
after 2, you're going to have 3. And then 4, and then 5, then years, one day at a time.
Yeah. Sobriety brings a lot of safety. You have people that you can trust, people you can reach out to, people that love you and help you and care about you. You don't have that out in the streets.
Matt, can we leave it open for a phone call if
Absolutely,
anybody wants
yeah.
to call?
If anybody wants to
So
call in.
anybody
yeah.
wants to call in, guys, it's 661-298-5481. And you can come on live with us if you want to do that. I know it's hard to get on a phone and do that, but if you do, make your phone call if you want to say something to Olivia or Kai. Be my guest. And you guys are great, though. I mean, it's like it's exhausting listening to you because I feel the pain. I know how you almost died.
Yeah.
And hearing that you actually tied a sheet around your neck and kicked the stool, I can imagine how bad you felt and the fear that when you realized what you did.
Mm-hmm.
But man, thank God you lived.
Thank God.
Yeah.
There was so much I would have missed out on.
Oh God, you have no idea.
No idea. And
I ran a psych unit for 16 years, and you couldn't come in there unless
it was something very serious.
it was something really serious. And almost everybody said the same thing. Thank God I didn't do it. I just didn't want to feel the pain. Suicide is a permanent solution for something temporary. No matter what's going on in your life, no matter how bad it is, this pain that people say time heals, no, but it makes it easier. So he'll always be with you. There'll always be a little of that pain. But that being said, you'll be able to be happy anyways. And
It's
you'll be able to
manageable.
smile and just know that he's with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Kai. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Like, you are growing already. I don't know if you see it or not, but you are. Like, I saw you come in, I saw you lay in the bed, and I was like, I don't know if I should talk to her. She might get mad. And I might get mad. I'm just playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, let me just see, like, she wants to smoke real quick or something. And yeah, you're growing a lot. You talk a lot more. You smile a lot,
And all the house knows I have a Winnie the Pooh stuffed animal that
Yeah.
my brother Charlie had given to me.
It's so cute.
A long time ago. And we'd have therapy or a group, and I just bring it in with me because when I hold it,
That's
and
awesome.
and I take a big sniff of his head, it's like it's okay for a minute.
Yeah.
I remember the good memories more than all the bad.
So
That's what you got to do.
So your mom and everyone's going to be seeing this show one time or another. What do you want to say to them?
I hope she's not mad that I told the story, but Mom, it's going to be okay. If I can do it, if I can pull and push and go, then so can you. And it's hard for her. I understand she's seen more, she probably has more trauma than I do, but when she takes that step of just letting it go and getting it out there, it's going to get better. She might not believe
What do you want
it.
to say to her about from you to her? Forget the brother thing for a minute. What do you have to say to your mom?
I love you and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all the messed up things I've done. But I want to put into action the words I'm saying when I say I'm sorry. I cannot just say it again. I have to show that I'm sorry. Because I can say sorry a million times, and it's no difference until I actually
Sorry
do it.
without change is manipulation.
Exactly. And I'm done manipulating. I'm done hurting. I want her and me to have the same relationship we did when I was a little girl.
Yeah.
That's all I want, and I love her.
I am so proud of you. Seriously, what do you want to say to people listening? Then we'll take our caller.
Just don't give up. That's the biggest thing. Keep trying. One of the counselors always says, Brian. he's always
He's actually listening.
yeah, Brian. He always says he always tries to be a better man than he was yesterday, and that's all you could do. That's all you can do. That's all we can all do is just try to be better than what we were yesterday. Don't give up. Keep going. Keep trying.
That's right. What about your grandfather and your daddy? And
Oh
all that?
yeah.
You forgot about them?
To my grandfather, I love you and thank you for always being there for me. Like even through all this, you never changed your perspective on me. I'm still like your little granddaughter, and I'm sorry for all the hurt. I'm sorry for treating you wrong and getting angry. Mom, I love you. My little sisters, I'm so sorry that I put you through what I did, and
I can imagine.
yeah, that's hard for me. But
I bet it is.
yeah,
They saw their big sister dying.
yeah. But just yeah, I love you guys, and please learn. I said that last time. Learn from my mistakes, and you know, just don't. Please don't do drugs. Just get an education. Go to school. Get a good, you know, good little boyfriend or something. But
Matt, before we take a call, what do you
yeah.
want to say to these guys? I know you're right here with me, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that you guys are what you guys are doing, that you're back, that you're here now, and I'm just really happy for both of you, and so happy to see both of you guys, and you both will continue on this path. I know you will.
Yeah,
especially
Thank you.
You got a great guy right here in the middle. I sit with him every
Yes,
Monday.
sir.
I text this guy on the side just to check in with him. He cares about you guys.
Yeah.
He cares, the whole group there, and just keep on that path.
Yeah.
So we have a gentleman, caller here named Scott, and he has a question for the panel. So I'm gonna.
Okay,
go
I
ahead
won't
and
be able
let
to
him-
hear it unless you can. Can
Right,
you turn it up?
Right, here we go.
Okay,
Scott, go
Scott,
ahead.
you're on. You're live with Action Drug Hour.
Right on.
Can't hear him.
Hey, I just wanted to start by saying
One
congratulations
second.
to Kai.
We can't hear you,
Hello?
buddy. Hold on.
I can hear.
Okay. Oh wait.
All right,
Right, Scott.
can you hear me
Wait
now?
1 second, Scott.
So I just wanted to say congratulations to Kai and Olivia for having the strength and courage to come on the show and share a little bit about their story. But I have a question. You know, I have a problem with like old behaviors, like going back to old places and old thought patterns and things that got me trouble in the first place. Can you give me any suggestions on how I can avoid going back to old behaviors?
Ladies, you're on.
Kai, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I got a lot of experience with this.
Yep.
Oh,
Go on.
oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
Well, as far as you know, going back to old behaviors, I would say you can't be scared of change. I mean, change is scary, but you gotta do things that feel uncomfortable. If it's not uncomfortable, you're probably settling for, you know, what you're used to, and same actions get the same results. So, you know, if you have to change the people you're around,
Doing the same thing over and over again,
Yeah.
expecting different results,
it doesn't work.
can't get through.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, getting clean and sober is easy. You just got to change everything. Your playground, your friends, your thoughts then change. You got to change everything. So it's easy. It's easy. You just got to change everything. Go ahead.
I agree. I think it's all about changing who you talk to, those friend groups. It needs to change. But the environments, I think at first it gets hard, but you got to pick up that phone. You have to find coping skills to get through that.
Right.
You need to be exposed to it to realize that it's gonna be there. It's gonna exist, and it probably won't go away. That bar that you go to, the dealer's house, those will still be around. But what you need is a strong support group of people who love and care about you and who will pick up that phone. It's all about.
So make right decisions, hang around with the right people, stay away from the negative places and all this
Right,
stuff that might
right.
want to make you that little thing click in your brain and make bad decisions, right?
Exactly.
You are who you hang out with, guys.
Yeah, my family used to tell me, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are.
That's the truth.
Wow.
So getting clean and sober is easy. You just got to
That's
change
powerful.
everything. Did you want to take a break? Scott, we're going to take a break. I want to thank you so much for calling. I hope you got feedback that will help you. And remember, you're doing better than you think you are. We'll be
All right,
back.
thank you guys.
Thanks, Scott.
Welcome back to the Action Drug Rehab Hour here on Hometown Station. I'm a little choked up after hearing all this stuff. You know that? I mean, it's rough. I feel your guys' pain. Matt, you're with me every week, and we couldn't do the show without you. But I mean, aren't these young ladies terrific?
Terrific. Seriously, you guys are inspirations to, you know, everybody that's either dealing with this or whether it's personally or, you know, a family member, like in your case. I mean, it's awesome. And you know what they say from these meetings and from going to the places that you guys are right now, it's, you know, to share inspiration and hope with each other, your stories. And that's exactly what you guys are doing here.
And if you guys, people that are listening, you know how much courage and guts it takes to do go through rehab and then to come here on a radio with cameras and everything else to be able to share your feelings like these two ladies did. You got so, if I had a hat, I'd take it off because the courage you two have is just unbelievable.
Thank you.
I can't
Thank
tell
you.
you how proud I am of you guys. I know we have to close, and I love you both. I want to give you both a hug right
Thank
here
you.
on the show, and then we will break it until next week. Thanks for listening to the Action Drug Rehab Hour. I'm Cary Quashen.